Hey guys, it's Ryan here with HobbiesofaMan once again, and today we're talking about DANDADAN. I watched the first episode of it last week on Friday, or maybe it was Saturday night, I can't remember, and I really loved it, which is surprising to me because I didn't think I would enjoy this. So I'm going to talk about the anime and my thoughts about the first episode and some of my thoughts about it, going forward, and hopefully this will release before the episode releases on Thursday. So we'll see if that happens or not. It should maybe release on Thursday itself, so it shouldn't be too bad, but yeah, so this is just a conversation about episode 1 of the series. So DANDADAN is based on the manga of the same name, DANDADAN, that was written by Yukinobu Tatsu. Now, my understanding of this is that Yukinobu Tatsu is one of the assistants of the creator of Chainsaw Man, Tatsuki Fujimoto. So this is kind of like the Chainsaw Man generation, if you want to call it that. This creator is part of that. It's like the guy that did Hell's Paradise and the people that helped him on Fire Punch. Most of these people that work with Tatsuki Fujimoto seem to have gained some level of success after working with him, right? And I think that's cool. So the DANDADAN anime was adapted from Yukinobu Tatsu's manga by Hiroshi Seko. And it's directed by Fuga Yanashiro. Now, that's not really clear to me how that works, because I'm pretty sure director in this case means like the manager of all of the episodes, where technically each episode has a different director. But I don't know who that would be, so I just went with the uppermost director label that was labeled on Wikipedia. And the production studio for this is Science Saru. Now, I can't remember if I've ever watched an anime by Science Saru. I'm sure I have, I just can't remember. But they did a great job with this. I think that the way that they're handling this is really, really good. The house style of the production company or of the animation studio is working really, really well for this story. And the music is by Kensuke Ushio. And in terms of talent associated with this, we have people from Demon Slayer. So Abby Trott is the English voice for Momo Ayase, and she's known for doing the voice of Nezuko Kamado, I think is her name, and Yo Asakura from Shaman King. So, usually male shonen character, male main characters in shonen anime are usually voiced by women. In this case, that's why she voiced Yo Asakura in the new Netflix version of Shaman King. And AJ Beckles is Ken Takakura, who is the voice of Tanjiro. So Ken Takakura is important, and I will explain it in just a bit. So let's see. Episode 1 was awesome. I thought it was phenomenal. It basically only adapts the first chapter of the of the manga. And I don't know what happens afterwards, because I have basically zero interest in reading this manga. And when I saw that the anime was going to come out soon, I just decided to watch that instead of reading it, because when I read a manga, I kind of don't enjoy watching the anime later, just because it kind of bores me, right? And so there's certain kind of series that I've been waiting for, and DANDADAN just happened to kind of fall into that eventually, even though initially I had no interest in it. But now I do. I really enjoyed this first episode. So I think it's a great start to the series. It opens up with Momo breaking up with a shitty boyfriend of hers. He is kind of like your basic, like Yu Yu Hakusho style delinquent boy. And after she breaks up with him, she gets sad, and she's talking to her friends, who are all different types of gals. Gals in Japan are a subset of fashion, basically a fashion community, and they have different like styles to them within the community. And so Momo Ayase is like your generic kind of gal character, and then there's some that are like much more serious about being gals, and they all happen to be for her friends, right? And she's talking to them. She leaves. She's walking around campus, and she sees this other kid in another class in her same grade who's getting bullied. He's reading his occult magazine, or actually it's more of a sci-fi magazine, and people are throwing stuff at him, and she decides that she wants to stand up for him. So she goes to sit with him, and they're surprised that this beautiful girl, very popular girl in the class, is talking to him, and he appreciates this a lot. So later he goes to talk to her, and he's like, "Miss Ayase, I know that there's no way that you would talk to me, so there must be something about me that interested you, and I bet it's my sci-fi magazine." And so he starts talking to her about aliens, and this is really when I fell in love with this story, because it was all really well done. Like all of the stuff that he mentions about aliens is stuff that people in the UFO community talk about nowadays, right? If you watch anyone like Clint from Night Shift or Patrick from Vetted or Christian Harloff, the the movie reviewer, he has a channel called Down to Earth with Christian Harloff. He also talks about this stuff. You know, people like Jeremy Corbell and Stephen Greer and all of these people. And, you know, David Grush, who is the guy that talked about the fact that the U.S. has alien craft in its possession in a Senate hearing a few years ago. Like, all of that stuff was accurate, and I really enjoyed that. And they even made references to like stuff that's like ridiculous, like the fact that lizard men exist, right? That's like that's a story that came out of people believing that stuff from Robert E. Howard's stories where it was true. Robert E. Howard was the creator of Conan, so it's all a mess. But this character Ken managed to show all of that, and I really enjoyed that. That was well done, because I really enjoy listening to a lot of those alien and alien related conspiracy theory podcasts. So I thought that was awesome. It turns out that she's not interested in that. She actually likes ghosts, and she thinks aliens are bogus, right? And so they have a funny fight here, and they go on an adventure after school. So Ken goes to an abandoned train shaft or train tunnel, and Ayase goes to a abandoned school or building, I guess, like a factory, I guess, something like that. And Ken finds a spirit called the Turbo Granny. She steals his dick, and she possesses him. At the same time, Momo is captured by aliens, and these aliens make references to Ultraman and a bunch of stuff like that. But they also make references to generic alien abductions. The Greys, they have these silver robotic-looking faces that relates to some stuff I've heard from alien sightings in Ireland and Scotland, I think. And they are abducting her because they need her reproductive organs, which is kind of why everyone thinks that people get abducted, right? And so as they're trying to steal her reproductive organs, Turbo Granny and Ken go to save her, and they fight the aliens, and it was really fun and really ridiculous. And Momo wakes her psychic abilities, and so she beats the shit out of them, and then they grow close thanks to this crazy situation, and they become friends, and they go off to see if Momo's grandma, who is a spirit medium, can help them get rid of Turbo Granny and return Ken's penis to him, right? And at this point, Ken reveals his name to Momo, and she goes crazy because Ken Takakura is the name of her favorite actor, who is the man that she kind of wants to find to be in a relationship, right? Like, she doesn't want Ken Takakura himself, who is kind of like the Japanese equivalent of like a Clint Eastwood, or maybe kind of like a Harrison Ford, right? She wants someone that embodies that kind of spirit, and she kind of found it in Ken Takakura, who shares the same name as the character that she bases her type on, right? And overall, I thought this was a really fun story. It was really ridiculous. It was really amazingly animated. There was a bit of problems that I had, very light ones. The first one is the way the character exposition happens in the story. So it basically seems to be exactly one-to-one from the manga. And so technically, as an adaptation, this is perfect. The problem is that the way that it was handled in the anime felt really jarring. It was really halting. So like the story was going on and things were happening, and then suddenly in the middle of it, they just kind of stop. And Momo Ayase gives her backstory, and it's only partially animated. So it looks kind of weird, and then it just kind of becomes kind of a little bit of a slideshow. And in general, that's not a problem when you're reading. It's fine. You kind of move through it because you can kind of change the pace on your own, right? But in an anime, it's paced out the way that people think that it should be paced, right? Like the creators pace it a certain way. And it felt very slow. Like it just kind of like stopped the episode completely and made it really, really slow. And so the first time that it happened with Momo, it was really, really bad. I even made a comment to my roommate when we were watching this. It was like, dude, that's a lot of exposition. He was like, yeah, it's kind of weird. Because it's more than usual for like a first episode, right? And then it happens again near the end of the episode when Ken reveals his backstory. And even though it's not really that big of a problem, the issue was that it was so like out there in your face. It was really weird. They didn't try to hide it or try to make extra animation or anything. And in this case, I think it's important for the studios that are making this to remember, hey, you're trying to make sure that the original story is satisfied. You're trying to adapt it as best as you can, but sometimes maybe you have to change some things. And in this case, I think it would have been better if they went into a flashback sequence and animated the whole thing and made the whole thing make sense, and didn't just have her voicing her thoughts out loud, right? Like, it just feels a bit jarring. And the other issue was that when Ken initially approaches Momo, he tells her that he knows that she's into the occult, and that's why she talked to him. The problem is that when he was saying that, he wasn't referring to supernatural events. He was referring to aliens and sci-fi based phenomena, right? And so that's not the occult. That would be like the phenomenon, or it would be like saying like she's into aliens, or it'd be like she's into, you know, sci-fi stuff, right? The problem is that there's a lot of overlap in some of those, especially in things like Skinwalker Ranch or Finding Bigfoot, or, you know, kind of these kind of concepts where it's like, it's not really occult, like, because it's not technically supernatural, it's all technically science-based, but also people are so willing to kind of merge those things that it's okay to call it the occult, even though I would say that it's wrong, because the way that this story is working is that aliens are one thing and they're on that direction, and you know, ghosts and stuff are another thing and they're completely in the opposite direction. So when Ken says the occult, even though he's referring to aliens, he actually means ghosts, right? And so the issue arises from a lack of clarity for me, right? Because or like, it's just bad diction, if that makes sense. Because he says she's interested in the occult. That is technically true because she likes ghosts, but it's also not true because he's referring to aliens. And so she doesn't like the occult that he refers to. She likes the occult that the word actually means, right? And I know that makes no sense. It's kind of hard to articulate what I mean properly, but I hope that that made sense to you guys, right? And so those were my two small issues with the story. Broadly speaking, I thought the animation was great. I thought it was really interesting. I thought it was really well done. It was really, really funny. I found a lot of enjoyment out of this, and I really like the character designs a lot. I really enjoy the animation as well. There was some really fun, interesting kind of bits of animation there, like when Momo is walking after she talks to her friends, we get just to see her feet, and they have this interesting kind of like loping kind of walking to them, and then we can see that she kind of walks like this in general later when she goes up to Ken in a different scene. And it's interesting because she has this really beautiful kind of like interesting gait that is so well done, well portrayed in the anime, and I really, really enjoy that. I thought it was really cool. And the way that the powers are explained are really fun. The kind of gags that they use are really fun as well. I really enjoyed Turbo Granny. I thought that was hilarious. And she's like, dude, I'll give you my, give me your dong and I'll let you suck on my boobs. It's like ridiculous. It's ugly as hell because she's disgusting and old, but also it's like really funny. And I had a lot of fun with this first episode. So yeah, those are my thoughts on this. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, please leave a like, subscribe, and comment down below. Let me know your thoughts. What did you think about the first episode? Are you going to watch the second one? You know, what do you think about it? Let me know down in the comments. And thank you guys very much for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed, and see you guys later.